What's up, homies? Welcome back to Agents After Hours. Our podcast is for agents who want to talk about the parts of this industry no one wants to admit out loud.
We are Erica,
And Paige.
and we're here to bring you unfiltered, unapologetically honest real estate talk. So pour a drink, take a breath, and let's dive in, baby.
Whoop whoop.
Whew.
So this week, our topic is showing up confidently to provide value. And it's quite ironic because before we started, I was like in tears, had a mentee B yesterday. Erica's been shitting her brains out for the past few days. Either one of us are
At our best.
And so it's kind of hilarious how we're just gonna have to, it's just very fitting. It's all ironic, but I think that just shows that you can act confident before you feel confident. And
Yeah. So I wrote this in a place of confidence. And now, since then, I have left that place. But here we are. We're circling back.
we're very much so borrowing the confidence you had when you wrote this.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to my first point. When you first get started in anything, I feel like you have to borrow your confidence at first because everybody's a newbie when you first get started. So you have to understand nobody's going to start off confident. You build it through reps. So every appointment that you go on, every call you take, every negotiation that you go through, that's another rep. So for example, if you are just getting started in the industry and you don't have anything to do, if you shadow an agent, those are reps. Those are things under your belt. You learn how to speak to people. If you go to an open house, I think that's a really great way to build confidence because it's talking to people. But even aside from real estate, anything in sales, anything customer service, you need to learn how to speak to people. And so I even take that as if I'm in the grocery store, I need to practice having a conversation. I need to practice the small talk. I need to just practice my people skills because they don't come naturally. And so that's something those are reps that I'm building.
I think that's really funny because there's a situation where me and a friend, we were at Target and we were deciding between checkout or the self-checkout, and she was going straight towards the regular checkout. And I'm like, the fuck? Why aren't we going to self-checkout? So she was like, it's okay. We can talk to the lady. We can be social. Don't worry. I was the only one talking the entire time. My friend just left me there to talk to this cashier. So afterwards, I'm like, the fuck you wanted to go there for? You didn't even say two words. And she was like, you're actually really good at it. And I'm like, it doesn't feel natural. I didn't feel confident in that moment talking to some random lady.
Yeah, I don't either, but that's why I just take little opportunities and just practice. And it really just depends on my vibe and my mood because sometimes I can be very, very confident in that aspect. But the more that we do it, the better we get at it and the more we learn how to transition and pivot into conversations. And I think that's something that you had said once about sitting around people who can have the small talk and just picking up little mannerisms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Full transparency, we recorded this a second ago and we just stared at each other blankly because we're we cannot do where is the flow? So I think that segues is something that I need to start paying attention to implement in conversation.
Yeah.
Side note, but also I really need to learn, I always stick my foot in my mouth. I just say some dumb shit and I regret it. And then I shut down and I don't want to speak. So there's that.
So I have learned recently, real recently, I'm still drinking from a bottle. I am just learning that to be confident in the silence. You don't have to oversay things. You don't have to over convince people. You don't have to say more to show certainty. It's okay to say what you need to say and be done.
Clarity.
I think that one of my biggest flaws also is over talking or let me prove to you why I'm right instead of just, but which is so, again, ironic for me because I am not a person that gives two shits about your words. Actions speak louder for me. So why I like to ramble to overprove myself when I will just show you that I'm good at shit. Ironic.
I also find myself talking in circles and my husband brought that up to me before. Hey, you're kind of making it a little bit more confusing. Just say this. And something just clicked. Okay, you just use less words, just be clear. So when you're building up your confidence, what are the littlest things you can do? But the most important is to own your own presence. So get very comfortable with being yourself. And bringing up this quote, it's be so comfortable in yourself that nothing shakes you. That's it. That's the takeaway for this one.
Yeah.
But in just owning your presence, I've read books on it. Well, I read a book on it. And even just little things, the way that you stand, the amount of space that you take up is going to exude more confidence. And people will take you more seriously. I'm not saying you're going to go around walking like this, but there's this pose called a Superman pose, and they say if you do that before you go out, you're gonna feel better. Just taking up more space is one of the things. Physically taking up more space will make you more confident, which is weird. But another thing you can do, and I had to also truly work on this, is just speaking slower.
Mm.
I've been told so many times that you can't understand me because I talk so fast and I go so fast, but anybody who speaks to me in real life, please know that my thoughts are moving that fast, and so that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, I talk really fast too, and Brandon has had to slow me down quite a bit.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just like, especially if sometimes if you're talking so fast and it just comes out mumbled, so you're just and you're like, "What?" You're like, "What did you just say?"
Wonder how it is on the podcast. So I would like feedback on that, like nice feedback.
Yeah, don't be rude.
Let me know if I'm talking way too fast.
One thing that you said about taking up space when you had your arms out, ever since, the masks came off after COVID, sometimes when people are standing too close to me, I wanna put my arms out and just start fucking swinging back and forth, and because I'm like, "Get back."
Social distancing.
Yeah,
Remember when we were taking our branding pictures and you're like, "Why are you walking like that?" Because I would just like I literally just walk and my arms are like this.
I
You're
don't
like,
remember that.
why are you walking?" Like, because I kept bumping into you. That's just how I roll.
You do take up a lot of space.
I do. With that, like, saying things with certainty. I can pick this out in other people because I feel like I've overcome it in a lot of ways. I'm not perfect, but like, saying what you mean and having your balls in it. I said what I said, and I'm very confident in what I said.
So I am also big though on say it even if your voice shakes. And I have heard many speakers recently that when they do speak, their voice shakes,
Uh-huh.
but they don't have any filler words that, for example, if you're saying something, well, I think that if you do that, then, or like, let me think about that. Well, if you did it, if you say that, instead of, well, I know that we need to have an inspector come out. I can't mimic a voice shaking, but if you're not filling it with, I think, well, even if your voice shakes, and so when you say it with certainty as much as you can. But if your voice shakes, still say it. Just remove the filler words or the, well, I think, because that's not certainty in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am learning because there's a lot of things that for me, public speaking is going to be real difficult for me, and I have to learn it. So I have to learn how to say it even if my voice shakes. So
Mhm.
that is also, again, borrowing confidence or pretending to have fake it till you make it. I know some people have issues with that a little bit, like that saying, but when it comes to confidence, got to show up
I don't
confident regardless.
I don't have issues with that because here's why. Any like big successful person, any coach, whatever, is gonna tell you if you say that I'm I don't know, $50 million real estate producer. I'm going to wake up in the morning and pretend that I'm a $50 million real estate. But what that means is like, you're going to wake up and take the actions that that person would take. Again,
Yes.
making decisions based on the best version of yourself.
Hmm.
If you're talking fake it till you make it in that aspect, I think 1000%. What I can't get behind is people that are like, I'm going to show you how to make $3,000 this month from your cell phone, and I don't even have $1,000 in my bank. That to me, like, that's not faking it till you make it. That's a scam.
So we have talked about a person that you followed on Instagram that she did that.
But dude, she's doing it. Well, I believe.
Well, I personally know somebody, and it's not confirmed with said person, but there's the rumor mill. So there's been more than one person that has said it,
Mhm.
but there is a person in our area that is doing that, and they are broke as a joke. And he straight up said, if I want people to believe in me and believe in this lifestyle, I have to pretend I have this lifestyle. And
Is it is it similar to Tom Ferry because he's a coach? Because I've been looking into a million different coaches, but he's never sold real estate. I may not be the most successful person on the planet, but I have a lot of value to give because I know the shit, right? So I don't know. I think be transparent. Fake it until you make it in terms of your confidence, but be transparent with where you
don't
are.
lie. Yeah, don't make yourself seem better than you are or inflate your stats or be dishonest or be deceitful or things like that with it.
Just be honest and like
Don't be a fake ass bitch. Just fake your confidence.
just say thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, don't be a fake ass bitch. That's not what we mean. That's not at all what we mean.
When it comes to conversations and things that we have a lot of the same conversations, right? With
Mhm.
people, the same things because things tend to go kind of the same way, follow the same path. So like, getting really comfortable with the things that you say, I think that comes with time, but also I mean, you can obviously have a lot more confidence via text than in person when someone's asking you something.
Keyboard warriors.
Mhm. But also it gives us the time as agents sometimes if we don't know something. I remember especially in the beginning, I would be like, "Okay, I can text them." But the minute they call me and they ask me these questions, I'm gonna panic or I'm gonna flounder or
Mhm,
I'm gonna, like, backpedal.
mhm.
So,
Yeah. I think
yeah.
that takes a moment of processing. I have to be prepared for the call or know what the call is about. I would like a heads up. I don't usually answer unplanned calls, and I know that sounds really bad, but I also know that that's a gap for me is being put on the spot. I need to think. I need to time to process. I need to gather my thoughts because
Right.
also I'm a hothead. So my initial reaction is usually hot-headedness or like or I feel like I'm ADD because they'll bring a problem to me and my brain is like the gears are going and usually it's not instantaneous. I need a second. My gears need to find their grooves. And then but that's not because I don't know something, that's just because processing time.
That's something that I also need to work on too is, like, realizing that I need to take a step. There's power in the pause of things, and I also will, like, be very reactive,
Mhm,
and then once I step back, I'm like, "Oh, crap. Maybe I should've thought that through a little bit."
mhm.
So power in the pause, guys.
One thing my last managing broker taught me, when you're, like, feeling irritated and you wanna send a nasty text or you wanna send a nasty email, type it how you feel, and don't send it. Don't even put their email address in the to line because you don't wanna accidentally do that shit.
Mhm.
But and that is always what has stuck with me is, like, when I want to respond because I'm angry, I type it all out. And I got away from that for a long time, but the beginning of this year reminded me that I need to fucking write again because I love to write. Yeah.
So similar to that, there was a time that when I was in property management, it was kind of where I got started. It was my first big girl job. Prior to that, I just worked at hotel front desk, whatever. There was a moment where my regional manager and my property manager, which was my boss, they really really saw a lot in me. So they wanted to like develop me and make me grow really quickly, which was totally fine. But they held me to a higher standard. I can't remember what the situation was, but I remember going to my regional manager when I was like in tears. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is what happened. I was 100% emotion. And something that he said that I will never forget is if you want this, you need to speak to me in facts and not emotion. He's like, go tell me how many of this and this you did. Show me how many research you did. Show me how many of this. And then we can have a conversation about it. But don't speak to me unless you have the facts. And that changed my life. So even if I'm talking to Eris about something or he has an issue with the client or something he needs to look up, I'm like, you need to make sure you have your facts straight. And that has made me way more prepared for calls that I'm going to have because I'm already kind of pre looking at the facts, not defensively, but like to be more proactive.
Yeah. I have how old do you think that manager is now?
I couldn't tell you, maybe like 40.
Okay, I figured he would have been older.
No, he was not that much. He was, I really don't know, honestly.
I
Couldn't
thought
tell
you were
you.
gonna say, like, late 50s is what I
No,
thought you were gonna say.
no, I don't think he's in his 50s.
So, I respond with facts is absolutely true. One thing that I had to come to terms with the beginning of this year, I had to tackle something that was very hard for me to tackle, to address. Not that not that the situation itself was weighing, but the task, what I had to do because of that information was very heavy for me and new to me. But I'm setting boundaries this year. It's just a non-negotiable for me. But I had written it and I had asked a couple people to review it to see if there was something might if it was written well.
Mhm.
And based on the generations, they all provided something different. My mom was one of them. And she was like, "Oh, there's way too many emotions in this. You need to take it out." And then somebody else was like, "No, I think that's the perfect balance." And then somebody else was like, "I think you need to add more emotion." All different generations. And I had to find a combination of all of them where I'm spitting the facts, but I'm also going to tell you that that fucking hurts and that hurts. That would hurt any human. So
Uh-huh.
like I had to find a good balance between the two. So I feel like, yes, spit facts, but it's not, business doesn't have to be cold. And I think sometimes there's people that make it cold because there is no emotion.
Okay, that's interesting. The thought process was if someone can see your emotions, they're going to pick you apart. And so having that kind of balance, but not showing up to the table or not showing up to the situation in tears, that's
Oh
not
yeah.
exuding confidence. And that was what I did. At the end of the day, even though I loved my property manager and I still do, I should never have approached them that upset. You
Yeah.
know, like I should have taken a second. But that, again, only child syndrome. I'm
Yeah.
used to that. I'm used to
Yeah.
being able to cry and someone being like, okay, this is how we fix it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I
That's
learned that,
interesting.
but it's something that stuck with me forever. Now I'm always like, okay, let's get some facts together. But I am a fluff adder too. And that's something else that they taught me because I had never been a manager before. And so they're like, okay, do the compliment sandwich. Bullshit.
Yep.
So I can add fluff. I think that I can deliver things like that, but also, yeah, having the facts is super important. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's just finding a balance. So I wonder the people who said to make sure you have a good balance, were they our generation?
No. They
Oh,
were
interesting.
they were the our generation said not enough emotion. My mom's generation said too much, and the one between the 2 said that was a perfect balance. I felt confident in it. If I woulda went with the first one I wrote, I would have had a lot of regrets by how much emotion, and if I went with the no emotion, I would not have been able to advocate that you need to have some empathy
Hmm.
because your
Hmm.
actions did hurt somebody, and actually, yeah, your actions hurt somebody.
Hmm.
So, like, you can't do that. That is but that's also my business practice, like, meeting people where they're at, being people first, like, being empathetic, not being cold. That's the reason why I wanted to open Brick Bill is to show that you can do business a different way. You don't have to be a cold ass bitch. You don't. Or snooty or super stuck up or
I also think that there's a difference between being cold because I can ear some is it ear? I can go sometimes on the route of being cold than be I don't feel like I'm ever stuck up. Personally, I don't feel that way, but I do feel like I could be cold at times.
I
But
guess
stuck up, nah.
I feel like even when I've seen you the most upset, like mad at a situation, you never because your tone wasn't cold. I think tone matters just as much here. Like your tone doesn't seem cold, but maybe your words are cold, but your tone isn't. You can still see. I think that's just because you're an authentic person. Like you're not a cold person, but like there are people that I can literally think of in my head right now that like I think are cold and almost like inhumane.
But like when how you speak is I feel like I don't ever like even when you're straight to the point and just facts, I don't ever take it wrong because I feel like I have my moments where I'm also just very like, okay, this is you have a question, here's your answer. Like,
Right.
let's go on.
Yeah.
It
Um,
doesn't need to be a three-ring circus.
right. Yeah. And I still think that maybe that's knowing somebody, but I don't know. I know this person and I still think she's a cold person. I've never seen her heart ever in my life. Have I ever seen her be an empathetic or a warm person? Never, ever.
Some people just don't have it enough.
No, they don't. And those, like, every time I see this person, I'm just like, you're why I opened Brick Built. You right there. And she's not mean. She's just,
Just cold, not
she,
friendly, unapproachable.
it's I think she's approachable. I don't think she's intimidating in any way, shape, or form. It's a hard personality for me. We're going to call it that.
Love that. Love
So,
that. Taking our own advice.
yeah, yeah. So, but to flip this back into real estate a little bit in business and give some practical advice, in the beginning, when you're a newbie and you're starting out, sometimes it's not about knowing everything. It's just about showing up anyways. And our CEO says it like, you don't have to be, and you can't be an expert in everything. You just have to know an expert. So I think that to apply it to real estate, even if you don't have all the knowledge, you can be confident in your eagerness and confident in your drive. You don't have to be intimidated. Be confident in that. And if you don't know the answer, but you know what? That's fine. I don't know the answer, but give me 24 hours and I'm going to find it for you. Or, okay, that makes sense. And while we're talking about that, I actually thought of another question just in case gets brought up. I'm going to ask this question as well too. Your eagerness can be what your fake it till you make it confidence is.
And with that being said, recap before you leave the questions like, okay, so I'm going to reach out to the county and figure out, can you shoot your gun here? Or I'm going to do this. And is that it? Can you think of anything else? If you think of anything else, text me, but I'm going to reach out to them on this and this on this date. And I expect an answer by this date. So I'll get back to you.
I think that's also perfect for literally any life skill. Like
Hmm.
if you are on the phone with somebody and there are tasks that need to be completed, real estate, personal, honey to-do list, whatever it is, at the end of that conversation, be like, okay, so I'm just gonna let you know these are the tasks that I'm gonna take care of next. Is that right? Is there anything I'm missing? And if they're like, nope, I'm like, great. I will get you these five, because I wrote it down, these 5 things back to you within 24 hours, a week, whatever that timeline looks like for whatever those tasks are. Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up because people need to do that far more often. I think it would help with organization and that would help with clarity.
Yeah, clarity is huge.
Yeah.
Clarity and vision and all the things. So some simple ways to kind of feel confident in bringing it back to real estate is I use this example. I had a client at one point that he was always very interested in who had this house before, when's the last time it was sold. And then he was also very interested in the HVAC and the things
Yeah.
like that. I'm not very mechanically I think at that point I wasn't as mechanically inclined. Now I can tell you some shit about a furnace, right? But before I couldn't. So what I would do, and he was a hard personality for me too. He was an older gentleman, and so he was like an engineer. I'm the complete opposite of an older man and an engineer, right?
Mm,
So it was difficult for me. I didn't feel like I was bringing any value to him at the time. So what I would do to be able to feel more confident is before he left, I would pull tax records. I would look at the history and see the last time it was listed. What did it sell for? Was it expired? Whatever. If it was expired, I would call the listing agent and be like, hey, what happened? Whatever, whatever. If it was pending, I don't know. I would just ask all the questions.
yeah,
I would make sure that I had the information about the gas heat, the propane, the whatever, and make sure that I had that information ahead of time. So that way I would go in there and be like, oh, hey, just so you know, furnace is here. I already found it. It's in the crawl space. You can't really access it. It was sold at this date, blah, blah, blah. That just made me feel a lot better talking to him. Also, I learned how to compliment him and make him feel like I'm like, wow, you should be a home inspector. You have so much knowledge, and just stroke the ego a little bit.
yeah.
Figure out the person.
I think figuring that's what I was gonna say, figure out the person because I have sat in so many conferences where we've talked about, like, business and your clientele and stuff like that, and everybody says that their least favorite client to work with are male engineers. That is my bread and butter. Give me all male engineers, and I think it helps because my dad was an engineer, so I, like, learned how to navigate that in life, but, like,
Mm.
I can work with that personality. There are certain personalities I absolutely cannot work with. And if you, when you're new, you're taking any business you can get, but then you work with people that are not your cup of tea, that are not your ideal client. And those people can damage your confidence right off the gate, like, especially if you're not prepared. So I think that, yes, having before every showing, being prepared is great, regardless of who your client is. But yes.
We're showing a ton of houses, so we're not gonna have every single thing memorized, but you can bring your MLS sheets, you can bring your iPad, your phone, whatever. Have your stuff pulled up and have your notes ready so that way, like, you know what they're gonna ask you, and it's already, like, highlighted or it's easy to glance at and see. I would always take my MLS sheets and, like, highlight square footage, year bill, central air, like, the main things, so that way I could easily at a glance, like, look and see it.
Yeah.
But also, instead of, like, bringing a million disclosures, I would just write notes on them, so that
Hmm.
way I could tell them.
Yeah.
So, like, always have the information readily available, but I would also give them one. I was very big on, like, bringing them to my clients. Now I
Yeah.
email them ahead of time because you can have it on your phone, and I'll bring it on the tablet or something just to get away from printing so much.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
But just having the information there and giving them the information too. And you'll learn really quickly with your buyers. So even at your buyer consult, you can even ask like, what do you look for? Like when you're looking at a home. So that way I can make sure that I'm doing my best research to be able to, show you the best way that I know how. You know what always shakes me to this day, and I
Well,
don't know why, is when someone's like, "Well, how much do you think it would cost to fix this? How much do you think this would cost?" Because I feel like I've seen enough quotes, but like the amount of times that I'm asked that, it sends me because I'm like, I don't know. I said, I have a guy. And I always fall back on my vendor list. I have a very strong vendor list and people that I really truly trust. And so
mhm,
like I call it we know a guy list because that's kind of like a joke that I have is, oh, don't worry about that. I know a guy. I'll
yeah.
send you my guy. Um, and people have loved that.
So when that question gets asked of me and Brandon is not with me, I always say, I know a lot of things, but that is not one thing that I can store up in my noggin. I have enough up there. Like I always make it a joke. Like I think I don't know if it was this take or the past take, but if you like don't know something, you can make it show your personality a little bit and like make it a joke, make it funny, but get it in the answer. So if Brandon's there, I can always ask him and he'll be able to put it right on the spot. He can give a number. Me on the other hand, I don't have a damnedest clue. But I
Mhm.
also this is gonna be very tone deaf, forewarning, forewarning for all listeners, very tone deaf. I also just, like, don't even know what a gallon of gas costs right now. I don't know what a gallon of milk costs. I have no idea. I don't price tags.
Nice.
I have to buy it. I mean, regardless of what the gas is, I have to buy it. Regardless of
Hmm.
the price, I have to get milk, regardless of that. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about, like, going and shopping and just, like, not looking and buying whatever material item I
Items.
want. Yeah, yeah, but, like, simple things like that, I don't have the damnedest clue. Don't know how much drywall is, like a sheet of drywall, no clue. So, are you Googling that?
No.
My very first client was a difficult client, a very difficult client. Some people would look at that and be like, "I never wanna work with a client like that again." Or you can look at it, reframe, do a mental shift, and say, I'm going to learn so much from this client because this client is going to push me in so many different ways. I feel like people need to reframe how they look at difficult clients, especially when they're still learning. Obviously, some people are just dicks and you don't have to take that shit. But I think for a person that's not really trying to be a dick, it's really important to take everything as a learning experience in the beginning. Educate yourself, try to get as much information as possible to be as prepared as possible because every transaction is different. You're never going to have all the answers right on the spot. Never. It doesn't matter how old, how long you've been in the business. You will not know every answer every time. And if someone tries to tell you that they do, they're a cocky ass bitch and it ain't right. It ain't true. No.
One thing I will say that you better have together though, this is just coming from Mama Erica, is like if you're going on a listing appointment, obviously have the comps, look at the past stuff, right? But if there's a house, I don't even care if it's a comp or not. But if it's on the same street, if it is next door, they're going to want to know about it. So
Mhm.
like do your research and like even if it's not a comp, I always search the neighborhood because they're going to
Mhm.
be like, "Well, that house right there around the corner just sold for blah blah blah." And it could be a 6 bedroom and they have a 2 bedroom, but they're going
Where'd
to
that
want to know
accent come
about it.
from?
I don't know. That's just in my head, I was picturing a country house, actually. So I guess from there,
They don't have neighbors.
you
They're
need
out in
to
the country.
bring a plan, not the vibes. And I'm all about the vibes.
I think a plan is very important. I think that what happens a lot too is people have sometimes I think that there can be too much information or you seek too many people's opinions. Like the way that Erica handles listing appointments and buyer and showings is probably vastly different than mine. And how I do it is probably vastly different than an agent that's coming to mind. I already know because she's told me how she does listing appointments and they are very different. Do what is confident to you because when you start trying to borrow other people's ideas and it doesn't feel authentic, you're not going to come off as authentic. Like, do your showings the way that you are confident as long as you're providing value during that showing. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I didn't feel like looking authentic to me is not doing any homework. Well, that's just fucking dumb. But
In the
don't
nicest way.
and then I have not been nice this episode. I called
Mm-mm.
people a fake ass bitch, old cranky ladies. I've
It's
said
okay. It's okay. We still love you.
a lot of mean adjectives today. I just have no tolerance today.
That's okay. But in regards to that, I read a book about people because for the love of God, if someone comes to me with so much data, I'm going to just quit. Like I don't want to know it. I want to know the main key points. I'm not going to ask you so many questions, but you have to be able to read people and give them the information that they want. Speak to them in their language because if you have a numbers guy, he's going to want to know the numbers. If you have
Mhm.
me, I don't want to know the numbers. I want to know, okay, what am I going to make? How fast is it going to happen? Like simple
Mhm.
sentences.
Mhm.
You need to know people. And
Right.
if you are showing someone all these charts and all these things,
I'm not doing
if
that.
you're showing that to me, again, I'm just like I'm zoned out. Paige can tell you when my face gets zoned out, like it's very apparent.
I don't
Like
think it's apparent to people that don't know you.
there's nothing else going on up here. I'm checked out, honey, and I'm out the door. Like I'm
You
sitting with you, but I'm not with you.
and she's making ungodly, unbreakable eye contact. That's how I can tell. She'll just be like,
But I think that like we're not all reading books about people's personality types and color types and all
yeah.
the things. I get that. But like you can even ask someone in a I'll figure out how to ask this and then I'll let you guys know. But like ask it in a way that's like, okay, how do you want that? Like, are you a numbers person? Are you visual? Like what's the best way for me to provide this to you?
I think Ryan said it last episode a lot like forecast expectations or forecast things that you want. Basically address things before they need to be addressed. Like how do you what information do you want? How would you like to best communicate? How would you like to like set those expectations up first so you're not having a problem and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't heard from you in a week. What the heck?" or "I haven't heard from you in a day. What's going on?" If you would have those expectations up front. Same with like just everything. Forecast everything. That's
That
all.
changed my life. And like, what is wrong? What is so wrong with that? What is so wrong with asking someone what's the best way? What do you want this information for? How can I best present this to you? What's wrong with that? Because to me, I would just rather just say, I don't want to give you something that's going to bore you to death. I don't want to see
Right.
a chart, but I'm also like, yeah, I don't want to see a chart. So show me
I don't
something
want to see
else.
charts. I don't like charts. They're hard to read to me.
Yeah,
There's
show
too
me
many
something else.
colors.
Show me something else. Move
It's way
on.
too yeah, I need but I can read paragraphs. Some people can't do paragraphs. I
Mm-mm.
love paragraphs.
I need bullet points.
Yeah, I can't do bullet points. I can't do like one, two, threes. I can't do dashes. Like I can't do that.
I
My
need
eyes
bullet
get
points. I need
lost.
to skim very quickly.
I skim paragraphs really quickly.
That's interesting. At
I
the end of
can
the
just
day, sorry, I was somewhere else. I left the room, honey.
I think my brain is just like a very long run on sentence. I think maybe that's why I can skim paragraphs because there are no periods in my head. It's just all the way through.
I'm a really good skimmer.
I feel like I am too.
Hmm.
Interesting. We just skim different.
Yeah, we do. We skim so different.
One thing I want to bring up. Okay, preparation for agents. Okay, you're nervous about the listing contract. You've never presented a listing contract before. Read that motherfucker. Read it. Read it. Read it, read it, read it. Fill it out. Make practice ones. Read it. If you want to know how to properly explain to somebody what's on there, read it and be able to explain it to yourself. Same with purchase agreements. If that's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But then I just also feel like you're gonna have to learn somehow what if you want to be able to properly present, you have to know what the fuck you're presenting. And you can't take my summary notes and that's just yes, I'll provide summary notes for you, but like for agents, like you have to believe what you're reading and what you're presenting. That's my thoughts.
So I have a situation where we have a buyer under contract and it's a foreclosure, which I've never done, which is new.
Hmm.
And they have a whole different purchase agreement.
Hmm.
I read that thing 10 times, sent it to you, made Eris
Hmm.
read it, be- put it into ChatGPT. I'm like, is this correct?
Yeah.
It threw me for a total loop because I know our purchase agreement inside and out. I know all the ins and outs. I know how to do all the things. And that just was like, it was brain soup. I say that to say, you could even take one of those things and just highlight the negotiating points or like the main points and then just go back and read it. But you should know what you're having your people sign because they're going to have questions.
Yeah. So read your documents. If you have nothing going on and you're just like, what can I do? I'm bored. I have no clients. Do you know the documents like the back of your hand? It's boring, but like again, we've talked about this in previous episodes. You need to be doing something real estate every day to generate business. The real estate gods will bless you if you're blessing them, and that is being educated in your.
The show.
That's one thing. You have a really cool story that's about value that I didn't hear about it until we started, and I thought it was really freaking cool, and you should share.
Oh, let me share. Okay. So, in preparation for this episode, I asked a friend of mine. So, we bought our first house in 2019 and it was for sale by owner. And so, we had an agent representing us, but stayed in contact with her. We're friends on Facebook, all the things. And she's sold multiple houses. She's owned a bunch of houses. She sold a bunch of houses. And when she went to sell her last house, she called me. She's like, hey, can you help me sell my house? And so, that was a huge moment for me because I was like, wow, she knows how to do this. Why is she calling me?
Mhm.
So I asked her, and I want to share with you guys what she said because this is coming from someone who has sold many houses, is what I say. So I kind of just asked her, like, she refers me all the time, and she could also help her friends and family sell their house by owner. So, like, what makes you keep referring me, and what made you call me? Okay. Honestly, the biggest value that you bring is experience, strategy, and peace of mind. I quickly realized that while I can sell a home myself, I didn't truly understand the business side as well as I thought I did, especially when it comes to the pricing strategy, the marketing, the negotiation, the timing, and the overall execution. You bring a level of organization, market knowledge, advertising, strategy, and attention to detail that I simply didn't have. You think of things I wouldn't anticipate problems before they happen. And let's take a moment. You think of things I wouldn't. Anticipate problems before they happen and guide the entire process in a way that makes everything smoother and far less stressful. So for me, your value is knowing that I have a trusted expert in my corner who protects my best interests, maximizes my outcome, and saves me time, stress, and costly mistakes. So that peace of mind alone is huge, which is why I not only continue to use you, but confidently refer you.
As realtors, we manage so much. And I love when clients realize that
Mm.
lenders, title inspectors, contractors, other agents, timelines, clients that only see one conversation and one side, and you have to navigate that. Like what she said, predict problems or figure out all the risks before they actually happen. I mean, every real estate transaction, even if there isn't contingencies on other houses, can be a domino effect. There's so many things that have to line up. And I feel also a lot of time we take away the emotion and stress. Like,
Big
um,
time.
we do a lot more than just open door. And some people find value in that and some people don't. Like, obviously, like she didn't used to find value in that. That's why she was a FISBO, but then she found the right agent and she was like, oh shit, the right agent does provide value. So I don't know if they used another agent before you. I was just assuming that she had a bad taste in her mouth at one point. You don't have to answer that question, but still, I just there's so many hiccups that can happen, and I don't know how a normal person would navigate that without the deal falling through sometimes.
Well, also, you have a full-time job, you have a full-time life, you have all the things where this is my job. So I'm able to kind of take that stress off of you because at the end of the day, our clients may come across things and we're able to advocate that for them in a way when they don't know how, or they may not even know that they need advocated for. For example, when making an offer. That's something that anybody can do. I can see a house on the MLS and or realtor.com, whatever, and just say, hey, I want to offer you X amount. We, having wrote thousands of offers, are like, hey, we could easily do the same thing, make this better for the seller, make this better for you at the end of the day, and get you the best deal. So, like, there's a lot of times that they don't even know what they need because they haven't been in the situation. And so that's definitely a value that we provide.
One thing my first managing broker had told me after I became a realtor, and I was venting about some problems I was having in a transaction, and she said it's crazy because you didn't know a single thing that went wrong when you bought your two houses because I blocked that from you. I didn't want to add any more stress to it. I kept things like I handled it so you didn't have to. And I think there's a lot of that in this industry too, where we are taking care of them before it becomes a big problem. And sometimes if it doesn't concern you, we're not going to concern you. But if you were doing this FISBO, you would have had to deal with every micro problem that happens. And trust me, there is a micro problem. I can't find the Dropbox for the earnest money. Where do I put it? That's like, not that it's a big problem, but it's something I have to stop what I'm doing. I have to make sure we can find the Dropbox. Hey, this earnest money check, the bank's asking me who I need to make it out to. I can't remember what you said via text. Okay, this is who you make it out to. Like, there's just a lot of, hey, title, hey, I need that water test. Can you make sure that you send that to me? Hey, the lender didn't like the way that you word this. Can you please change? Like, there's so many little things that are like,
They may not even know that they need a water test.
yeah,
So I mean, we do a lot. And I think at the end of the day, we need to show up like we mean it. Like we need to show up knowing that we're going to help someone because we do. And some transactions are easier than others. So there are times that like it's just a smooth sailing thing. And I'm like, damn, what did I? But at the same time, your next one is going to kick your ass down. So
mhm.
just be prepared.
And I feel like even if you don't have clients right this moment, being prepared for those things, reading the contracts, knowing, like talking to other agents to figure out what hiccups they're having and how they navigate it. What are the required inspections? Maybe you can shadow an inspector for one of your coworkers so you can see how the inspections look and mechanical goes. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do to be prepared. So when you finally do get a client, you can show up confident or as confident as you possibly can be because you have all the tools. You're locked and loaded. You're ready to go.
Yes, baby, you're ready. I think that attend all the inspections. If you have a home inspector bed, attend all of them because that's how you learn so much and you know what to look out for. You know the red flags and you can better serve. Any time that you can take, you can get education, it's going to better serve your clients at the end of the day.
The disclosure for me, if you attend inspections, is to shut your fucking mouth. That's all.
We know. You've told us. But even if you like I'm saying like if you have a good inspector pal, see
Yeah,
if you can tag along.
absolutely.
You can always learn. There's always like me, I love to teach people.
Yeah.
Come with me to everything.
Come with me and you'll be
Is
free.
that Willy Wonka?
I think so.
Oh, if you're a great agent, which I'm sure you are, you're going to be there way past the closing table. So, how many times has someone reached out to you was like, "Oh crap, I have this problem," and you're able to provide them with their vendor list or helping them with what's something else, homestead exemptions, taxes,
Mm,
appeal, all the things that you can be a resource for.
yeah.
There's a lender right now that's doing like a ton of home maintenance tips, and I think that's so interesting, like videos and stuff. And I think those are
Mhm.
so interesting because some people don't know how to take care of a home. So
Such a good. Is he a local lender?
yeah, but also, okay, really quick story.
Okay.
So I had a past client that reached out to me just last week and was pretty pissed because when they bought the house, the furnace was new. New. So I think it was manufactured in 2020 and they bought the house in 2023. So it was 3 years old. Very new furnace. They called this company that came on a postcard to come out and look at something because something's going wrong in their furnace. The company said, "We don't have any record of ever installing the furnace or any doing any of the things." So I said, "That's really odd. You have a sticker." I look back at the inspection. You have a sticker of when it was installed and all the days that they serviced it. Anyways, long story long, he ended up his warranty went void because he didn't have his HVAC service. So that's something that like could provide to
Mm.
your people is like make sure you're having your stuff serviced.
That's actually a really good idea. There's people that do like calendars with, which is insane to me, like magnet fridge magnets with the
Fridge magnets.
calendars. And they have like the boxes are like this big. They're microscopic. And I'm like, what are you writing on there? Because not me. Did you see this fat pen I wrote with? If I accidentally pulled one of those out, it's
Well, I
taking up the whole
provide
box.
sorry, idiot.
That's okay. But it'd be really cool to do like a home maintenance calendar.
I put one in my new homeowner binders. It'll say, "January, do this, all the things." Servicing your shit is very important.
You have a calendar fridge magnet that has very tiny boxes that you can't write in.
I don't, but I've seen them.
I mean, I think that people send them just to, like, have a business card on them, but I just, like, what are you writing on? That's not a usable calendar to me.
No, it's not, but yeah, you're on there, and a lot of people really like them. Another way you can provide value to your clients after closing is providing documents. So I've had to go back and provide different documents for my people.
Mhm,
You can go back through now at the beginning of the year is a really great time to go back and for your past year and send settlement statements to your sellers so that way they have them for taxes because they're probably going to need them.
mhm.
I've had to resend inspections because people don't save them. All of the things.
Thanks. We are their hub for all things homeownership. That's
And you should be doing it for the rest of their life or
amen.
yours.
Or yours, one of them, or until you're out of the business, but then you should still do it because your license will be in referral and you can refer them out.
Yeah.
Um
Okay.
But yeah, so making sure that we're not providing just time as our value, but it's also like the experience that we bring. Clients pay for our years of knowledge, like our just what we learn, our work ethic, things like that. And yeah,
Honestly, I think that confidence is part of the service. They want to be able to
yeah,
put their trust in you confidently. This is very scary for them. It's not scary for us. So we need to make sure that they can kind of kick their feet up and you can make it as easy as possible. And if you act replaceable,
ooh,
you're going to become replaceable.
mm, I think a lot of people are just shy and scared to like take up space, take up all the space, baby, take up all the space.
But if you have more confidence in yourself, you're gonna know. I've had situations where like I'm almost second guessing myself, but I'm like, I know myself. Like I know
Yeah.
myself well enough to know that I said this or like my system makes sure that I say this every single time. And there's been times that like there might be a question and it's
Mm,
like, hey, I thought this wasn't gonna happen or I thought this sale was as is. And I'm like, true, but they reserve the right to do such and such and such. Surely I told them that. So I'm in my head, like my heart dropped,
yeah.
my stomach drops, my heart's beating, and I go back and look at the email, and sure as enough, I said, "Hey, this is reserving the right to this, this, and this." So trust yourself because I knew I did that.
Yes.
I knew I did that.
Yes.
You're gonna act your best, so don't second guess yourself.
Amen. I think trusting if you know you've done everything right, why are you feeling insecure?
You can make yourself crazy trying to think about all the ways that you fucked up. Because I've
Yeah.
done that. Even if I didn't, I'm like, well, I could have done this, but there's always something you could have done better, but like just don't drop the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, guys. That's all I got, unless Erica has any final thoughts.
You never know. You got to shut me up.
I don't know. You have final thoughts. You can keep going.
Can I leave you with a quote?
You can. You can all well, do you want to leave it at the end or do you want to leave it now?
I'm going to leave it now. Now is the time.
Okay.
Our value isn't what we do when things go right, it's what we prevent when things could go wrong.
Amen. Mic drop.
You're welcome.
Love that. All right. So this is episode 48. We have a part 2 for 49 and then it's our fucking 50th. Woo! I'm so excited.
My dogs are excited.
Yeah, they're cheering with us. I freaking love that.
Excited for us.
I love that. We have something I think is going to be good. Do you think it's going to be good for our 50th episode?
I'm super excited about it. It's
Well,
something we've never done before.
and it's going to be fun. We're going to do a little something special for our
We getting
listeners.
deep.
And we are getting deep with our episode. That's what she said. Anyways, I can't help it, guys. I'm in rare form today. It's fine. But don't forget that we are now on YouTube. Our views are not my favorite, probably because we didn't start there. So go watch us. We had so many people want to see us live, like talk. So what are you doing? What are you waiting on? Go to our YouTube, follow us, watch our shit.
You might as well because at one point we're going to be doing podcast tours. And so you better get used to watching us on YouTube.
I love that. We love big dreams. We have big goals. Like we want this to be a thing. So YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook, TikTok. Follow us on all the things. You know you want to.
It's Agents After Hours podcast.
And talk about the podcast so we can get more followers and listeners, because that would be fun too.
So why do you guys only talk to us about it? Like, why don't y'all talk to your friends about it? Because you guys want to talk to us about it.
Yeah,
But
you
we
can
know
tell
we're
it.
here. We know how fun it is.
We love to hear, we love to hear all the great things. It literally, I feel like giddy and a schoolgirl when we get kind words sent to us. But we also want you to share those kind words, because if it's helping you, it's going to help somebody else.
Mhm.
So again, we talk about the parts of this industry literally people don't want to talk about, or they're too scared to talk about, or people think is unprofessional to talk about it, but it's real, it's life, and we're showing it. We're
That's
being
honestly,
honest.
yeah, and that's our biggest feedback is like that we bring a real approach to it.
Yeah. We're real estate agents.
Keeping
Sorry.
it real. Estate.
I'm so glad you matched my corniness. I appreciate it. All right. Also, we have some affiliate codes. Is it just
What are they? Oh, we have Hustle Humbly podcast. So if you guys are trying to ring in the new year in a great productive way, go to hustlehumblypodcast.com, look at the resources, and use code
after hours?
for $100 off.
Also, we have an Amazon storefront. The link is everywhere. So, like, go to our bio. It should be somewhere there. But I think we also link it to our YouTube channel. So you could also go there too and find it, which will give you a reason to go and follow us.
Because we like to put our favorites on there. And wouldn't you like to know what our favorites are for a surprise?
And they're practical things. And if we like them, I feel like a lot of our followers are very similar to us. So you're going to like them too. So
I know you like surprises.
All right, guys. I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything? Are you forgetting anything?
I don't know, but we'll see you on the next one.
Peace out.
Bye.